Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, dear colleagues, friends, and family. What an enormous honor to stand here before you tonight at the center of this extraordinary hemicycle, at the center of this beautiful city, at the center of Europe. After these past few days of truly outstanding work by our Congress participants and our headquarters staff, to whom I'm eternally grateful, after the graciousness of our Luxembourgeois hosts, and after all the new and rekindled friendships made this week, I am extremely proud and humbled by the trust that you are now placing in me. I'm also very excited to begin my term as president after the inspiring example set by my very good friend, and if I can say it, mentor, Youssouf Badia. As I said at the General Assembly a few days ago, working with Youssouf has been one of the great privileges of my professional life. And who would have thought that a lawyer from San Francisco, from California, and one from Burkina Faso would become the closest personal colleagues. That is UIA in a nutshell. And how gratifying it is to begin my term at one of the most vibrant points in the 92 years of the UIA, when it's active, engaged, full of promise, and ready to confront the expectations of new generations of lawyers. But I think we have other, more ominous realities to face. It would betray, I think, the frankness this occasion and this venue demand if I did not address the very stark challenges we face as lawyers right now at this moment in our history, challenges that have been a theme of the Congress and challenges you've heard about tonight, including from my colleague Jackie Scott. Today, the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, the world is struggling. The profession we practice, the legal environment we inhabit, the values we cherish are under siege. The historic arc towards global cooperation and increased acceptance of the rule of law somehow seems to be shifting beneath our feet. In fact, we face the gravest risks to the legal order that many of us have witnessed in our lifetimes. And responding to those risks firmly and without compromise has to define our responsibility as lawyers and as UIA members. Headlines this past year, even this week, make clear that democratic values and the rule of law are under assault. Disillusionment in so many countries has tipped many nations towards populism, towards nationalism, threatening legal norms that our predecessors laid out over the past century out of the ashes of 2 world wars. Somehow governments willfully ignore these lessons of the past and seem intent on adopting a more cynical appeal to narrow and to nationalistic concerns and instincts. They heap scorn sometimes on the idea that nations should care about one another and be willing to learn from one another, insisting instead that it's only their own countries, their own governments, their own people that matter. Many governments have made clear that they have no use for the rule of law, or worse, they distort the phrase by redefining it, insisting that strict adherence to the edicts that they issue on behalf of their agendas is what the rule of law requires. They ignore the fundamental principles of electoral fairness and disenfranchise those who disagree with them. They dismiss the core principle of separation of powers and try to undermine the judiciary, the branch that is least able to protect itself, but most essential to the rule of law. Beyond that, look around. We see a world in self-destructive conflict. impeachment proceedings and a debased political discourse in my own country, the United States, Britain's tortuous struggles over its departure from the EU, violent protests throughout the world that we read about every day, in Paris, in Hong Kong, in Santiago, in Barcelona, in Beirut. We see deep frustration and protests in Africa, increasingly anti-democratic tendencies in Russia and Brazil, in Poland and Hungary, territorial disputes and religious tensions in India, scandal and political shocks around the world in countries like Canada and Israel. One of our colleagues told our General Assembly the other day, on Wednesday, of the very, very dire situation in parts of Latin America. As we observe these historic locations, we have to ask ourselves an essential question, and one that nags at me, to be honest, and that I hope to make the center of my presidency, because I believe we in the UIA have to strive to answer it together. What is the role of the lawyer in a world that is turning away from democratic values, global cooperation, and the rule of law, and is slipping towards nationalism, populism, and authoritarianism? And the question is not a theoretical one. It's a very personal one. Quand j'étais à l'université, j'étais fasciné par un ouvrage d'un auteur français, Julien Bonda, intitulé La trahison des clercs, The Treason of the Intellectuals en anglais. Le livre insistait sur cette question: où se trouvaient les avocats au moment où le monde sombrait dans le fascisme dans les années 30? Je n'ai jamais pu oublier cet ouvrage, la grave interrogation adressée par l'auteur à la génération précédente exigeait une réponse, mais il n'y en avait bien sûr aucune. Et aujourd'hui, j'imagine un futur auteur qui n'est peut-être encore qu'un enfant, peut-être même un de nos enfants, écrivant en 2050 et posant la même question accusatoire: où étiez-vous, vous les avocats, en 2020? Qu'avez-vous fait pour protéger nos valeurs démocratiques, l'état de droit et l'indépendance de la profession et du pouvoir judiciaire? La question s'impose à chacun de nous, parce que nous sommes aussi tous des produits de la mondialisation dans son sens le plus large. Il est impossible de démêler notre interdépendance. Je viens de San Francisco, en Californie, à plus de 9000 kilomètres d'ici. Mais mes grands-parents sont arrivés aux États-Unis en provenance de Moldavie et Pologne il y a 100 ans et n'ont jamais pu parler l'anglais. San Francisco s'est établi comme mission espagnole et est devenue mexicaine au début du XIXe siècle. Au même moment, les marchands russes parcouraient la côte nord de la Californie. Il y a d'ailleurs un fort russe juste à quelques kilomètres de mon domicile. 10 ans plus tard, la ruée vers l'or attirait des chercheurs du monde entier. Des travailleurs chinois et japonais se sont alors dirigés vers la Californie pour gagner leur vie, où ils ont été amenés contre leur gré. Les Français, en quête de nouvelles opportunités après leur révolution de 1948, sont arrivés en nombre. Les Italiens ont créé une grande partie de San Francisco. En fait, l'une de nos entreprises fondatrices a été établie par un fils d'immigrants de Gênes. Le pionnier de notre industrie vinicole actuelle est un Hongrois qui a fondé une cave dans la vallée de Sonoma. Et les Africains, descendants d'esclaves affranchis du Sud et plus tard de nouveaux immigrants venus du continent, ont afflué vers San Francisco pour intégrer la vie politique et artistique de cette ville. Ma ville, mon pays, se sont vus façonnés par des populations d'immigrants de tous les continents du monde. En résumé, nos histoires, la mienne et les vôtres, sont toutes entrelacées et nos préoccupations sont par définition mondiales. Now, personal as these questions are to us, however, there are limits to what we can do as lawyers. We certainly face some challenges in trying to deal with them. Our principal goal is to zealously represent our clients, and that goal can sometimes seem in conflict with the rule of law. What happens if our clients' interests would benefit from a personal attack on a judge or on the justice system more broadly? And lawyers are not politicians. We're supposed to rise above politics. Entering the fray as partisans can seem inappropriate and even unethical. We're also not homogeneous and don't speak with one voice, nor should we. We come from Kinshasa, London, Tokyo, and Sao Paulo, where men, women, older, younger, liberal, conservative, straight and gay, wealthy, and of more modest means. Our strength is not physical, it's more subtle. We have no armies, no police force, no enforcement power whatsoever. We rely only on our power of advocacy and persuasion. Al mismo tiempo, tenemos también puntos fuertes indiscutibles. Tenemos años de formación y experiencia. Tenemos el acceso a nuestros tribunales y instituciones de poder. Entendemos cómo funcionan nuestros gobiernos y tenemos códigos deontológicos que nos obligan a hacer lo que es correcto y honorable. Gracias a nuestras fortalezas, creo que en la UIA tenemos misiones importantes que espero van a inspirar nuestras actividades. Dar sentido y sustancia al Estado de Derecho, contribuyendo a definir su forma, pero también su fondo, lo que incluye proteger el sistema electoral para determinar la voluntad de la mayoría y garantizar la protección de los derechos de la minoría. Comprometernos con el globalismo, y me refiero con esto a adoptar la actitud abierta necesaria para aprender unos de otros y considerar los intereses de otros países. Esta manera de pensar nos ofrece más posibilidades de mejorar el derecho y la humanidad que la construcción de barreras o la adhesión ciega a la convicción de que el único sistema correcto es el nuestro. Proteger la independencia de nuestros jueces y ponernos a prueba a nosotros mismos y a nuestros clientes para asegurarnos de que sean compatibles con el Estado de Derecho. And with this in mind, I plan to take a number of initiatives at the UIA this year. First, along with my wonderful colleague Jackie Scott and the extraordinary IRAL team of the UIA, we will be working to ensure that the rule of law has real meaning. Our organization has spent years working on the definition of rule of law that comports with international standards, including that of the United Nations. And we will not hesitate to hold governments to account when they misuse and distort the term rule of law. Second, we will focus on the essential right to vote and to participate in government, including a joint project with the ABA this year and a special session at our next Congress in Guadalajara. Third, we're going to work to enhance the participation of judges in the UIA and study ways that lawyers can help protect judicial independence and integrity. Fourth, we're going to continue to exchange information as we have for 92 years, to learn from one another through our commissions, through our national committees and our valued Bar Association members, and through innovative new programs that we've been developing, as you know, like UIA Advance for our law firm members, and our new mentoring project to match early career lawyers with more senior experienced lawyers. And fifth, we intend to focus on increasing diversity, not just in our membership in the UIA, but in our leadership. And by that, I don't mean just national and geographic. I mean gender. I mean more women. And I mean more minority groups, lawyers from less privileged backgrounds, LGBT lawyers, and those with disabilities. Because different perspectives from those kept out of the mainstream of our profession are absolutely essential to protecting our values. All of this is in the context of trying to answer that question. What is the role of the lawyer in the face of a world in turmoil? And I intend to push that question wherever I travel on behalf of UIA around the world. And I hope to have more concrete answers for you when we meet again next year in magnificent Guadalajara. I will also be maintaining a blog throughout my travels, and I hope you will follow me there. president.uianet.org. In the meantime, I want to thank all of you, for your extraordinary support and encouragement over the past few years. In particular, I want to thank my best friend in life, my partner, Ray, who has helped me through more struggles and taken care of the homestead during more extended business and UIA travel than I care to remember. To my son, Jeremy, who always keeps me honest with humor and friendship. To my law firm, Munger, Tolles & Olson, and one of my partners is here, thank you, Grant, which has supported me throughout my dedication of time and resources to the UIA. And to all of you, my UIA colleagues and friends, the many people I have dined with, toured with, laughed with, argued with, in places all over the world, from estancias in Argentina to the shores of the Bosporus. And especially those at the headquarters in Paris, who strive to make everything our far-flung organization does around the world seem so seamless. I see what you're doing, and I could not be more grateful. My fellow lawyers, the issues we are facing are immediate. We are confronting a call to action, and we cannot justify the special privileges that we have if we do not fully embrace our responsibilities. At the same time, I feel that we are fully prepared. I am absolutely convinced and truly optimistic that we at the UIA can make an enormous difference in helping get that arc of history back on track. Let's have a ready answer for the inevitable question in a few decades. What did you do? What did you lawyers do to protect democratic values and the rule of law at this difficult time? Let's seize the enormous opportunity that the UIA, this association, affords us to work together with firmness of purpose, with the benefit of the collegiality and the friendship that we enjoy here together. I am ready to roll up my sleeves, and I know that you are too. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful evening.